Had to stay up to the wee hours of the early morning to see the finish between Georgia and Georgia Tech, an 8 overtime thriller. These Dogs coming in on a 30-game home win streak, tied for the second longest in SEC history. This isn't an SEC team, though, but man, did Georgia Tech play like one. They were up 17 at one point. Now they're up 7 in the fourth. Haynes King. Oof. Go off, King. 24 carries, 110 yards. He had 3 touchdowns on the ground. That's your quarterback. Those are your Georgia fans. They're headed for the exits. Traffic on 441 in Athens. I mean, it's brutal. Carson Beck to Dominic Lovett. Oh! Listen, they don't call him Dominic Likett. It's Lovett. It's a touchdown, and now it's just a 7-point game with 2 minutes, 10 seconds to go. You're going for it. Why not? Your quarterback is mobile, but your quarterback puts the ball on the deck. Dan Jackson coming through with a hit. He's a redshirt senior. His class of 2018 in high school. He's been in Athens for a minute. That's a grown man play. And it's part of a Georgia senior class that has not lost at home in the entirety of their Athens existence. What does it lead to? Carson Beck looking for Lovett one more time. Mauled.
Oh, that's a flag.
It's weird to see a dog get mauled by a yellow jacket, but that was the case, and we got pass interference. And okay, here comes Carson Beck, and you're going to go right back to Lovett. You're going to go right back to the guy who brought you there. He was in before he was pushed out. 2 touchdowns in the final 3:39. We're going to overtime, and we're already in the second overtime. Malik Rutherford showing this kind of speed. His only carry of the game, but he got loose, and then the ball got loose, but he recovered it. Sort of a little crossover dribble, just right on the doorstep.
Yeah, sure. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No travel, different sport.
Totally fine. Totally fine. And then King's going to keep it himself. Just wait till we get our Haynes in the end zone. Haynes King putting these Yellow Jackets on top. Georgia had more trouble with Yellow Jackets than Thomas J.
Too soon.
It's not too soon. He does need his glasses, though. It's a 6-game lead because the 2-point conversion goes begging. And here comes Carson Beck. What do you do with it? Well, you're going to toss it up for Cash Jones. And Cash Jones is going to come down with it. They don't call him Credit Jones. It's Cash Jones, and he's in the end zone for a touchdown. Second game tying, or rather game this season with 5 touchdowns for Carson Beck. He's the only one in Georgia history to have multiple games. And it doesn't, it goes begging for 2. So we are begging for more overtimes. How about 5 overtimes?
I'm tired.
I'm
tired.
We were both like, are you seeing this? It's King finding Rutherford. Whoa. Rutherford in the end zone. We're tied at 42. They're all 2-point conversions from this point out. You got to get in. Georgia Tech in the 6th overtime. It's their turn. This was the only sack of Georgia's day, and it was a massive spot as Georgia's defense sets this up. Beck could end it. Smith. What happened? Hit him in the hands, but you can see we're kind of tip drilling. And yes. But you can see it was tipped, and now we go to a 7th overtime, and it's King, and he's looking for Jackson Hawes. And this thing falls incomplete, and you're like, all right, the Dogs, here they come. But look at that late laundry.
No way.
Yeah, even the 01 BCS National Championship crew thinks that was a late flag. Here comes King, keeping it his own self. Yeah, he had 110 rushing yards, needed 112. Peaches and cream. Sky is the limit. Let's go to the 8th overtime.
112.
Nate Frazier. Nate Frazier is in, and we can exhale in Georgia, at least in Athens, Atlanta adjacent. Probably not loving the way that one ended.
What a game.
44-42, and there's Brent Key. Yellow Jackets head coach who's disappointed and emotional. He said there are no moral victories, but I'm proud of my team. Last night, slow start for Carson Beck and the Dogs offense. But Georgia, as we said, they were shut out in the first half of the game for the first time since 2019, but they found a groove after halftime. Over their final 7 drives, Beck 17-23 for a $182 and 5 touchdowns. Beck has turned his season around. 11 touchdowns, no picks over the last 3 games. Here's Coach Kirby Smart on how his team has also turned this thing around.
You know, they got a really good football team, really physical football team, and they really out-physicaled us tonight. Their quarterback is a dang warrior, and I have so much respect for the way Brent and them play. But our kids, they are resilient as hell. They never quit, never say die. It was sloppy. These fans stayed with us. Just a great game. How many times did we do that? 9, 8?
8. 9 was the record, so you're almost there.
We're all out of 2-point plays.
Sucks. Losing stinks. Losing this. Told him there's no moral victories. I'm proud as heck of them. I'm proud of the seniors and what they've done for this program. I'm proud of everybody that was on that sideline and the work they put in.
That's an emotional head coach on the wrong end of this classic. Our playoff reporter, Heather Dinnich, is with us. Heather, based on what we saw last night, the result that Georgia got, did the Bulldogs just guarantee themselves a spot in the college football playoff?
No, there are no guarantees until Selection Day, and here's why. We need to pay attention to two things tonight. One, who wins in terms of Texas and Texas A&M, because the winner of that game is going to the SEC championship, and that will impact Georgia's chances if they do not win the SEC. So why do I say that? Because if Georgia were to lose to Texas, they would be able to say, hey, we beat the SEC champs during the regular season. If they lose to Texas A&M, we're talking about the selection committee's number 20 team right now. So on Tuesday night, I would say pay attention to two things. Where is Georgia and where is Texas A&M, the two teams that would be headed to the SEC championship game? And also, how you play matters. If Georgia were to lose to Texas A&M, and they played for 4 quarters the way they did for 1/2 against Georgia Tech, that's a big question in the committee meeting room if they don't look good. And we have to remember, championship games certainly do matter, but Georgia lost to Alabama last year as a one-loss team that I would say is better than this year's team, and they didn't get into the college football playoff. So there are no guarantees.
To the end zone, touchdown, Georgia! Georgia has rallied back, now heads to overtime. A 10-2 Georgia team is in the college football playoff for sure. We're heading to the 6th.
Who's got enough left in the tank?
Pressure up the middle on King, and they get him for the win. Oh my, Arian Smith drops it. 8th overtime, Georgia wins with a successful 2-point conversion here. Frazier straight ahead and straight in. Georgia wins it. They were down 17-0 and fought all the way back past the limit.
We are still making sense of what we saw between the hedges. Roman Harper once played in a 5 overtime game against Tennessee. Time to level up, Rome. You're watching 8 overtimes last night. What's going through your head?
Man, just that the fight in both of those teams, that the 2-point conversion rule from instead of going from the 25 has really changed the way that the overtime rules go. Great job, and shout out to Kirby Smart, really using his timeouts effectively to kind of extend plays, understand what Georgia Tech was trying to do, really just an overall battle. Haynes King's probably extremely sore this morning. Give a lot of credit to what Georgia Tech was able to do last night. This game was exciting, and this folds into what exactly I said last week, that the chaos of the college football is not over with. That I thought we actually had an early start to the party last night, but more teams will fall today. I know we don't want to talk about it, but the chaos will continue. This has been a very unique season. It will not change. Trust me, only more will come.
This is Emanuel. EJ, an absolute classic. How do you put into perspective not only 8 overtimes, but Georgia's ability to survive and keep their college football playoff hopes alive?
Well, Randy, the big thing that I saw from Georgia was it looked like they had too much dog food or too much turkey or something on Thursday night, because they came out in this game lethargic. And to start the game, they're not containing the quarterback with Haynes King. They're not stopping the run on the edges with Jamal Haynes. But I will say they had resolve in that second half. It was a really excellent job of just finding ways to make plays in the third and fourth quarter. They didn't score a touchdown, Randy, until the third quarter of this game. So as much as Georgia Tech brought the fight to Athens, Georgia found a way to bounce back. And I was really proud of Carson Beck, some throws and some of the plays that he made. And guys, I also felt like we saw a masterclass in coaching. The way that Kirby Smart was calling these timeouts in some of these, well, not all of these overtime situations, you had 8 of them. That was really smart. Defensively, you're able to see what the set Georgia Tech's going to be in, find ways to make stops, and then Dan Jackson with the forced fumble, flip the game and take it to overtime. Awesome job by the home team.
Carson Beck really came alive in that second half as well.
We saw a classic last night. Just what are your thoughts on an 8 overtime Georgia come from behind win over the Yellow Jackets?
What an incredible game. Just as a fan of college football, I loved every second of it. But when we really look at Georgia and project going forward, for them to have a chance at winning the SEC and a national championship, you have to get better production and consistency out of your receivers. Like, no pun intended, but Carson Beck is a dog. But these receivers are letting them down over and over and over again. And for them to have a chance at winning the championship, they got to get more consistency in their receivers and then also in their offensive line. I know they've been banged up, but this is a team that has still so much talent. But you can't drop third downs early in that game. You can't miss these opportunities. And you have a quarterback that the last few weeks has been playing at such a high level. He's got to get more support around him because, honestly, they're fortunate to be able to get out of there 8 overtimes with a victory.
Tim said it last week, the skill set turning into will set. And now Georgia just needs a nice couple sets of hands to help out Carson Beck. More Tebow.
Let's go. Hands team. Come on, Gary.
As we turn up with Kirk Herbstreit, probably, hopefully, for Kirk and his travel plans from Kansas City hours ago, probably taking the under on 8 overtimes tonight. Hopefully, we'll keep our fingers crossed. Herbie, let's start with boos from that crowd because we've got to start with Georgia and Georgia Tech. The instant classic, 8 overtimes. What was going through your mind when you saw what happened?
Man, I was looking forward to falling asleep. I couldn't go to sleep watching that game. That game was one of those games you just had to watch to the very end. Georgia Tech, you have to start with them. The job that Brent Key's doing and building that program up, pretty amazing. Nobody gave them a shot to go into Athens. A lot of times it's one of those rivalries that unless you're a Georgia Tech fan, people just kind of look by. They just assume Georgia's going to win, but nobody told Georgia Tech and Brent Key. They showed up to win the football game. Georgia looked a little bit flat. And I thought Georgia Tech jumped on them. Should have won the football game, I think, in all of our minds. There's a lot of plays. You can go back and forth. This happened, that happened. There was a targeting call. There was a holding call. What happened? It was just one of those games. It was going to be who was standing at the end. And you got to give Georgia credit for finding a way to win a football game. Really, just two teams that were on near the empty of their gas tank trying to finish that game off. But Georgia gets it done.
Folks behind you don't need to be reminded how good Haynes King is because before he was in Atlanta, he was there at College Station. But yes, it's time for Roman's harping. What are you and your new friend in the blue plaid behind you? What are you guys harping on today?
Man, we're harping on Travis Hunter and his performance yesterday. Look, so often we look at all these Heisman moments, these Heisman memories that we see, and this may have been Travis Hunter's Heisman moment yesterday. For all those who are not paying attention, this is possibly the last time we see Travis Hunter in primetime fashion on Big Boy TV because he will not play in the Big 12 championship game. That possibly could happen. But for him to go out there, 10-plus catches, you see it right here. Look at this big boy catch he's about to make. Big go-get-'em moments. And so when you have these type of moments, 10 catches, 100 yards, 3 touchdowns, an interception, should have had another interception or 2. Guys balling on both sides of the football field. He's doing something so rare that we do not see this. And I'm being honest. Travis Hunter, you are my son's favorite college football player. He brags about you all the time. And so that might be the second coolest thing about you after today. Because after what I saw yesterday, you could also be a Heisman Trophy winner. So congrats to you. Congrats to Colorado Coach Prime and all the other guys over there for supporting him and what this season's done. So shout out to Colorado and Travis Hunter, man. A true baller and Heisman moment yesterday.
Listen, Hunter Heisman has a nice ring to it. It sounds almost as nice as that harp over your shoulder. Can we hear it? Can we hear it one more time? Is that possible?
Can we get a little harp in the back?
There it is. Nice. We got more Roman and his new harping friend there coming up 10 a.m. Eastern. SEC Nation on the SEC Network Saturday. Shout out to everybody in the Twitter mentions, including one corny gentleman who woke up on the wrong side of the bed. Travis Hunter woke up as a -800 favorite to win the Heisman Trophy.
Did those get better?
His Colorado Buffaloes were taking on Oklahoma State. Well, better for whom? If you had an early ticket on T-Rav, you're doing just fine. That's an INT. The odds, these are live odds within the game as he jumps the route, and the odds jump to -1,000. Why? Get you a Heisman candidate who could do both. Both what? Asking and answering questions. Some people find it annoying. Instead, it's Travis Hunter scoring a touchdown as Shedeur Sanders found him, and the live odds -3,000. Huh? Sanders on his way to his second 400-yard 5 passing touchdown game of his Colorado career. He found Travis Hunter for a second score, and for Oklahoma State, it felt like
what?
Felt like 5. Sanders 34-41, 438 through the air. Here, finding Hunter, contested grab, didn't matter. Gain of 31. We're out here mossing fools. I got Sanders to Hunter. The odds are minus 10,000, real time. That's the third touchdown. Now they're minus 20.
Kevin from the office is hammering these odds right now, dude.
Here's how it sounded on Learfield Radio.
Shador takes the snap. He throws this one towards the end zone. Fighting for it. Up with the football. Touchdown, Colorado. In a season of improbable plays, you just saw one of the greatest catches you're ever going to see. He was battling with the defensive back, falling down, made the catch on his back of 23 yards. Number 12. We've never seen anything like him, and he's got touchdown number 3.
That's me just playing football, man. They say I can't do it. I'm not a top receiver, so I had to show them.
Had to show them.
It's not hyperbole.
The odds are minus 20,000. 10 grabs, 116 yards, 3 touchdowns. Had the defensive interception as well. 52-0 as the Buffs are off to their best start since 2016. Coach Prime on his Heisman Trophy favorite.
I think Travis clinched the Heisman with his performance. I think he made a lot of people aware of how ignorant there was with the Thorpe. His performance today, what he had, 3 touchdowns, 100 yards, and an interception. But Travis Hunter proved today, and he's proved every week, that he is the best player in college football. So Travis is him, man. Travis is that dude. Ain't nobody could deal with him on either side of the ball. If we put him at punt return, he would be that dude as well, a kick return as well. He's probably going to be first or second pick out of the whole draft. That should tell you how dominant and prominent he is.
Bars from Coach Prime, dominant and prominent. Travis Hunter is about it. Shortest odds to win the Heisman Trophy by any player entering championship weekend in the last decade. Sits just ahead of Joe Burrow's 2019 season, with Joey Burrow undefeated and eventually set the record for passing touchdowns in a single season. The odds down to minus 15,000, perhaps because of what this guy did.
And here's the thing, in any other collegiate football season, Ashton Jeanty and what he is doing for Boise State would be the runaway Heisman favorite. Instead, Travis Hunter is playing great football this season. So too is Jeanty. 3 defenders, Oregon State can't stop him. Plows into the end zone. He would have over 30 touches in this game, dragging 2 defenders to the end zone with him. 13th half with 100 rushing yards and a score. Boise State up 14-0. If you blink, you might miss him. 3 minutes to go in the third. Only way you're going to stop him is if we literally stop the edit on our end. 2 more defenders, snapping ankles. Jeanty breaking loose, 60 yards. He has a 77-yard touchdown this season as well. The Broncos have only lost 1 game, second week of the season, by 3 points against the best team in the country. 2 minutes left in the fourth. Listen, man, Beavers can't skate very well, and they are on skates on this blue turf. Another handful of defenders missed. 37 touches, 226 yards, 1 touchdown for Jeanty as Boise State wins 34-18. So Ashton Jeanty, 2,288 rushing yards this season, the 5th most in a season in the history of FBS. Oklahoma State's Barry Sanders currently holds that single season mark set back in 1988. Jeanty averages 191 rush yards per game, on pace to pass Sanders, assuming he plays in the Mountain West title game and a bowl, or what it's looking like, a college football playoff game.
Oh, there's the whistle.
Come on. Got the 2-minute drill. The best from the rest across college football. Actually, we're going back to Boulder. Mailuaki Smith throwing it, but picked off by DJ McKinney. Took it back like it didn't fit. Uh-oh. Oh, actually, this is Travis Hunter with the 2-minute drill. 5 years ago, nearly to the day, we've seen that celebration before. Egg Bowl much. Elijah Moore scores a late touchdown against Mississippi State, and what does he do? Relieves himself just a bit.
Oh.
Would get a flag.
Yeah, a little bit.
PAT. They lost the game. Was there a flag this time? I don't know. Listen, CU won 52-0. Football is restored out there in Boulder. Listen, for Oklahoma State, it's a down year.
All right, America's team, Navy, taking on East Carolina. That's Kaiten Hauser to Yannick Smith. Smith not only scores a touchdown, lets Navy know, cross up, fall back,
travel.
Jumper. Yeah, that's tough, man. That's a little, that's actually, I mean, listen, it's pretty great celebration.
Well, they were down double digits.
He threw it right at the guy.
Maybe scoreboard much.
They were,
I mean,
because
the shots on target.
Because Navy got 34 points, all of their 34 points in the second half in the win. But that right there from Smith, it was a nice form. It was a nice form. You can see the follow-through, wrist action.
Yeah, sure.
Pretty good.
We got Minnesota, Scotty, battle for
Dukes.
Paul Bunyan's axe. Birthday boy and PJ Fleck fired up. Final seconds knowing Minnesota is about to get this W. They are awarded the axe after the 24-7 win. The celebration gets brought into the locker room. Sound up.
Row the boat, Scotty Michael Gophers. The axe is coming home.
The celebration and Fleck row the boats. It's time to crowd surf. And that's how you celebrate a birthday. Be easy on the plumbing, okay? It's an old stadium. You don't want to put the body weight into it because then you're going to get water everywhere. Shout out to Gophers.
Be lucky if it's just water.